Hey folks, Paul here. Before we hit the water, I'd like to fill you in on where we're going and what you're about to see. We'll be hitting a small 7-acre gravel quarry here in northern Colorado at the end of June. This time of year, we're normally in what can be called the pre-summer period. Pre-summer is the tail end of the transition between winter and summer. Winter and summer are the most stable periods due to the fact that photoperiod, that's the amount of sunlight, is not changing rapidly as it does in spring and fall. We've now slid comfortably into the longest days and shortest nights of the year. The problem with summer and winter is that both bring water temperatures outside of the most efficient metabolic range for bass. They're cold-blooded creatures, remember, and this impinges on their activity. The transition seasons bring ideal water temperatures for bass activity, spring and fall. The bass's engines essentially rev up. You'll often see it in their body condition and in their fighting abilities. Whoa, 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 whoa. That said, realize though that light and heat are the key foundational environmental conditions. At the very same time last year, my waters were experiencing full-blown summer due to the record heat wave we had then. So exactly when and how things set up can vary year to year. And realize also that each water body heats a bit differently. The kick over to full summer comes as full summer heat hits, bringing water temperatures into the 80s and higher. Today's fishing comes on the backside of a couple weeks that we had of 90-degree air temperatures. We're on the cusp of summer, but I won't know actually until I get onto the water and drop a thermometer over the side. Those ideal metabolic conditions that I mentioned are transitory, coming and going with the whim of the weather. Although the duration and angle of sunlight at this time of year has a stabilizing effect on the possible intensity of that change. And that's summer. Again, realize that each water body heats a bit differently too. Behaviorally speaking, pre-summer is when the majority of bass have finished spawning. Some males are still tending fry and fingerlings. A few may even still be tending beds. Females and the remaining males are feeding heavily. Heavily is the operative word here, as a number of factors come together to have bass putting the feed bag on. Essentially, the food chain is ramped up. Water temperatures are conducive to biological activity. We see ideal water temperatures for fish activity and growth. And many prey species, prey fishes are now preoccupied with spawning and therefore more vulnerable to foraging bass. The signs of pre-summer are water temperatures still below the low 80s in Fahrenheit. We'll see aquatic vegetation begin flowering. Prey fishes are spawning, and those that aren't, bluegills in particular, are surface-oriented, as that's where the heat is. And the bass are in peak body condition. They're often fat and almost continuously defecating. At least we hope they can make good on that opportunity that they get during this time of year. So, if you're still with me, let's hit the water together and see what happens. On this quarry, I can tell you I found 3 areas that held numbers of feeding bass. All were in proximity to concentrations of bluegills. No surprise there. One was an away-from-shore rubble bar that held a spawning colony of mature bluegills, and the other 2 appeared to contain shoals. That's the proper term for schools of feeding bluegills. I'll be fishing a crankbait, and I'll also follow up with a pre-summer transition video on fishing a wacky stickworm. Both are just great options. So, I hope you find this interesting and helpful in your fishing. I guess enough said. Let's do it. Let's fish. Okay, I'm on a small gravel pit once again here in northern Colorado. It's a shallow body of water for the most part. We've had a whole week here, 2 weeks actually, of 90-degree temperatures. Water temperatures are, we're looking at just about 80 degrees Fahrenheit on the surface here. And we're going to check a water temperature profile. With water temperatures on the surface in the 80s, if you don't get much wind mixing,
you actually can get a thermocline, and that's something I always measure for. It will allow me to eliminate a lot of water. What I tend to do is, if bass will come up and strike shallow, if they'll move for me, if they are shallow or will move up for me, it saves me a lot of time. I can just, you know, run a buzzbait, burn a spinnerbait, I can fish a swim jig, a crankbait pretty rapidly toward the surface, and the bass will move for me. That's awesome, and that's what I always check for. When the water temperatures get really high, the bass leave the surface and are less apt to come up onto the surface. It's true on sunny days, but it's true even when the water temperature gets very hot. So I'm watching my temperature profiles and my lighting. They're more apt to come to the surface when it's dark, so in dim and overcast. All right, let's check our bottom. It's only 4 feet of water here, and I've got 78 in 4 feet of water. I've got 80 on the surface, 78 in 4 feet. And I chose this day because we're supposed to get thunder showers, and you can see those glorious cumulus clouds developing. If I don't get lightninged out, I should have good lighting. What that lighting does is it encourages the bass to feed. They have a little bit more of an advantage in sight on their prey. The bright sunny days, the bluegills can see those bass coming, and bass are willing to feed, but they have a harder time doing it, accomplishing that. Cloudy days like this, bass get an advantage. There's also a big advantage in our lures not looking so ridiculous as they do in clear water. When you get overcast skies and a wind-rippled surface, the line landing on the water, the splashdown of the lure is attractive rather than spooking fish. And that's huge. That's a huge advantage. So these dark, wind-rippled days where the lighting is broken up is a huge advantage for fishermen in public waters like this. The cover is along the shoreline. Okay, shorelines attract fish, and then there I'm getting some vegetation up here now, and then I've got a whole bunch of weeds out there. So that edge, that's a weed edge, that's going to be awesome. I'm going to be hitting that, and I'm going to hit the shoreline first. I'm going to crank this shoreline. Let's do it. The vegetation here is milfoil and threadleaf for the most part. Milfoil is a good sign. Threadleaf is not. Threadleaf is a bear to fish through. It's like spaghetti, and it just gloms onto everything. Milfoil is great. It's a solid weed, and you can bounce off it and fish fish love it. I've not known threadleaf to really attract fish much, except for the fact that it's an object in the water. There's one. All right, we'll spin around a little here, and we'll turn you. Oh, I hooked my pants. Darn it, hooked my wader. All right, where's that sunshine? There you go. Directly overhead, I guess. Oh, beautiful, beautiful fish. Small head, small mouth. It's summer, and you're in good shape. You're feeding. This is nice. All right, honey. Yeah. Yes. Nice. Show you the plug quick. I like to say I don't pay much attention to color. It's one of the least important things. However, color does matter to me, and I basically go with water clarity and what the prey fish are. I tend to be fishing fairly clear water. I've got good 5 feet of clarity at least. So I want it to look like a bluegill. And this is a bluegill coloration out of spawning condition. Out in the open, they tend to take on an olive reflective pearlescent color. So I scraped all the paint off of this crankbait. It was white. It was a shad color. I scraped all the color off it, and I used nail polish. and I made my own bluegill color. Whoa! Got whaled. There you go. There's one. Gonna jump. Don't you jump, you. I've got a barbless hook on, hooks. Whoa, you're gonna jump. Whoa. They usually don't jump when the water temperature breaks 80, but I guess we're in the 70s down there. So, whoa, you're gonna do it again. Whoa. Whoa. Ooh, you're a strong thing. Oh, there it goes. Whoa, I got hit. I saw him hit it too. Not a big fish. All right, let's see if we can get this fish. Come on in, Papa. And one advantage to barbless hooks. You got some fungal scars here, probably post-spawn stuff. And you're eating too, so. There's one. Don't jump. Don't jump. Stay down, little monster. That was a slow retrieve. Whoa, he's just got one hook in him. Oh, man. Whew. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That is gonna hurt me. You be careful, honey. You be careful, honey. Whew. Okay. That was a strong fish. They do have small heads on them. Beauty. Beauteous. Nice leopard spotted one. Oh yeah. Slow retrieve too, that one. Whoa, there's another one just got plastered. Wow. Just got nailed. No, stay down. They seem to want to be coming up. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, a little better fish maybe. Nope, just a strong fish. My word. You guys are full of it. Whoa, 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 do not hook my boat. Wow. Got some hooks underneath here. man. Okay. You've been caught before. Yes, you have. You're an aggressive thing, I guess, eh? You're full of food. Well, that's a fish. Right toward the surface he was, too. I barely even dove that plug. Let's keep this thing locked down. Not a big fish. There it is. A little 14 3/4 maybe. Adios. Whoa. Oh, one hook. One tail hook. Oh man, and a green fish. Oh. Well, we'll see. Whoa, bang. Whew. They're continuing to like this crankbait. Boy, your tail is very chewed up. You've been caught before. Guarding a red, have you been? All right, buddy. There's one. First cast in that spot. So I got 3 spots that are giving up fish, that are holding fish. Either just holding fish or aggressive fish. I've got some, you know, they're caught randomly, a few here and there, but in my time spent cruising around this pond, I've identified 3 areas. One of them I know is a bluegill spawning colony on a rubble bar. All right, come on, Papa. Oh yeah, they're all about 16 inches, 16 to 17, about 16, hefty. We're still in the dead zone. Let's see what happens. There's one right there, so much for the dead zone. Although I'm approaching my good corner. You gonna jump? Are you gonna jump? You're gonna jump. Oh. Kitty fella. You've been... Well, you've been caught before, I was going to say. My word. All right. Gonna need some stronger thumbs there, Paul.